All right, the Improvement Service Committee will come to order. What date do we have today? We're somewhere in December, right?
11th.
Okay, December 11th. And we'll note Alder Presley, Alder Dilly, Alder Eck, Alder Weir, you're all present.
Wow, you're
Zoom right along. That's our roll call. Can I get approval of the agenda?
Move to approve.
second.
Motion by Alder Dilly, second by Alder Eck to approve any changes. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, well, do we need to take number one off, or how do we?
Nope.
Okay.
That carried. Approval of the minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Alder Presley, second by Alder Dilly. Discussion, those in favor?
Aye.
All right, that passes. Everything that we do tonight is a recommendation to full city council next week, Tuesday, and the 17th. And number one, consideration with possible action on a request by Chase Linsmeyer at 1132 Blythe Street to rescind the invoice of $91 for placing yard waste leaves in the street. Director.
Had a conversation with Mr. Linsmeyer today. One of the things he wanted to verify was that his house was not being specifically targeted. So when I explained to him the process, that unlike a lot of other complaints that come up that are running through our inspection department or any complaint-based issues like this, for leaves in the street, we actually have our departmental personnel going out the day before, so they're one day ahead of where the collection crews are, and they're photo documenting any house that has excessive leaves in the street. As soon as I explained to him what that process was, and he was comfortable that this was kind of, this was an objective process moving forward, and he was not being the subject of any specific or targeted type of enforcement, he said that he was perfectly fine withdrawing his request, so our recommendation would be to receive and place on file.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Motion to receive
Second.
and place on pile of
Pile.
leaves. Yeah. Motion by Alder Eck, second by Alder Dilly. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that carries. Number two, consideration of possible action on request by Department of Public Works to purchase yearly structure cast iron castings from Nina Foundry in the amount of $65,246 for the sewer section.
Okay, this is something that we do on an annual basis. This is to replenish our castings, so sanitary and storm type castings. We did go out for a contract back in 2022, and that's a 5-year contract, so we got pricing from Nina Foundries. The amount is in our utility budget every year, so the money is there. It's simply a matter where we're expending more than $50,000, so we do need council approval for that. But this is a budgeted expense and a 5-year contract that we have with Nina Foundries, so just looking for approval to go ahead and purchase those replacement parts.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Eck to approve, second by Alder Dilly. Any discussion on that? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Number three, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to adopt the proposed 2025 stormwater utility rates.
We have provided with you quite a bit of information in the packet. The first page of it is a copy of the stormwater utility budget that you did approve as part of the city budget process. So once the budget is approved, what we do is we take that budget and divide it amongst 80,000 equivalent runoff units in the city and come up with a cost per ERU that winds up being our per ERU charge for the year. So there's really not a whole lot of anything unique here. It's simply taking the approved budget and turning it into a rate, which then winds up on the utility bills. So if you have any questions, we can definitely answer those to the best of our ability.
Any questions from the committee?
Sounds
I
pretty
think
self-explanatory.
one thing you will see is the ERU charge per month went up again from $11.37 to $12.50, and the charge per year went up from $136.46 to $150.04. That is primarily a function of those of you who've been on the council for a while remember probably 3 or 4 years ago when we put 88% of the forestry department into stormwater. This year, 100% of forestry charges are being paid for by the stormwater utility, so that's why the increase in cost.
Okay.
Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alder Dilly, second by Alder Presley. Discussion, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes. All that, we're on our last item already. Consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to adopt the proposed 2025 sanitary sewer service charges.
And not too dissimilarly, but a little bit different with our sanitary utility. Again, we did adopt our sanitary budget as part of the regular budget process, but there are two components to the sanitary sewer charges. So what we do is we take our sanitary budget and we divide it out amongst our non-monitored, which is primarily residential, or anybody who doesn't have a unique waste, liquid waste characteristic, like the plants, the paper bills. And we come up with a city charge, which is primarily the conveyance charge, the charge for our city collection system. Then the second part of the charge is the Green Bay Metropolitan Sewage District charge. And the GBMSD charge has two primary components to it. There's a flow charge, so that's for every gallon of wastewater that goes down the pipe. And the second component is what we refer to as the load charges. So there are 4 parameters that Green Bay Metropolitan Sewage District treats for. That's biochemical oxygen demand, total suspended solids, phosphorus, and total Kaldol nitrogen. So each of those, there's a certain amount of those contaminants or those properties within our wastewater, and based on the amount of parts per million of that in the water, that converts to pounds at the plant, and the treatment process the plant uses to remove those from the wastewater to acceptable levels for discharge is basically how a wastewater treatment plant operates. So we have to wait until New Water adopts their budget in early December so that we can get their charges and add them to our charges. So that's all explained in the paperwork we provided to you. The bigger impact would be on the top of page 2, where it starts off with, based on the GBMSD rates, the volume charges are, so there's a Green Bay Metropolitan Sewage District of $3.85 per 100 cubic feet, and the city charge is $2.36 per 100 cubic feet, which comes out to a volume charge of $6.21 per 100 cubic feet. Going back to page 1, depending on the size of meter you have, water meter you have at your house, so if you have a 1-inch service, you have an automatic allowance on a 1-inch service of a couple of hundred cubic feet, whatever it is. Per 100 cubic feet, and it turns that 1-inch service into a monthly bill of $37.80 or $93.90 per quarter, depending on how you're billed. So if we go to, there's a summary table, looks like a large spreadsheet, and we take a look at the charges for 2025. Again, we go to that first 3 columns with the volume charge for non-monitored users, so that's your average residential household. The Met charge is $3.85. The city charge is $2.36 for a combined $6.21. That's up 4 cents from last year, or 0.82%. For our monitored customers, our paper mills, there's an I&I charge, that's infiltration and inflow. That's clear water, precipitation that leaks down through the ground and finds its way into the pipes through cracks, joints, defects, that kind of thing. Then there's a volume charge, the billing, and the total charge there. And the average charge, or quarterly charge for an average residential customer is going from $152.26 last year to $159.50 this year, for a total of 2.84% increase. So again, what we're doing is we're taking Green Bay Metropolitan Sewage District, or New Water's budget, turning it into a rate, and we do the same thing with ours, combine those rates, and comes up with a blended rate that we actually charge on our sanitary sewer bills that you get as part of your water bill. And we have to approve these rates so that the rate can be forwarded on to to Green Bay Water Utility, so they can put that into the billing, so we can start billing in January.
Oof. Okay, any questions?
Could you
Oh,
repeat
what am I?
that?
I'm sorry.
Hey, what the
I
heck?
think my meeting my part went too fast.
You did, you need a little more time. Let's
I'm
revisit
sorry.
some of these. Any questions on this one? It's pretty straightforward. It's a lot of information, and it's good
It is.
because when people question it, you can point to,
Exactly.
here's how it's calculated. Because I don't explain it, I just point to it.
Well, it's a lot to explain.
It is. And tell them to watch the meeting. Watch Steve.
Well, we want to make sure that you have the information that you need, so that when you're talking to constituents, you're not caught without.
Motion to approve.
Appreciate it.
Motion to approve. Alder Delay.
Second.
Second, Ballard Presley. Discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes. Director's report.
I really only have one thing for you tonight, especially in light of last Wednesday night. Last Wednesday night, we had our first real significant event of the year. I did communicate with my staff and tell them that I was very happy with their response to that event, and I don't think they could have played it any differently. We got some wet, heavy precipitation that fell at a very inopportune time during rush hour, was compacted by the cars, and with the wind, it froze back. So there's really not anything we could do to stop it. They were on top of it immediately. By 6 o'clock on Wednesday night, arterials had wheel paths open. By 7 o'clock, our arterial streets were clear and running. We were back down to bare pavement by 7 p.m. So that's about as good a response you can get, especially with ice freeze. I will tell you that during that evening between 4 and 6, I was on local streets, I was on arterials, I was on the highways, and I was on county roads, and all of them were in bad shape. So it dealt with everybody. I also had several trucks that were not equipped for spreading because we were still making that conversion from leaf collection to winter mode. I am happy to report we are 100% set for winter. Our fleet is converted from summer to winter mode. We got the wings on, we got the spreaders on, and everybody is ready to go. So much as we had anticipated with today's storm, National Weather was telling us that there was much ado about nothing. People were getting a little excited. They were worried about a couple of small cloud bursts, and they didn't even materialize. They did say tonight between 3 and 9 p.m. we could see some additional precipitation, but nothing that's going to accumulate. They're more worried about the extreme cold, so we are expecting cold temperatures and sub-zero wind chills lasting into Friday at this point. So, but good news is crews got their first taste of winter conditions. The rust is knocked off, and we do have the fleet complete, and we are ready to go for snow season.
Any rookie snowplow drivers? Not the old vets like this guy, but.
We do have several. We do have several, so
Yeah.
getting them out on a spreading operation ahead of time was definitely beneficial.
When you drive out, do you put that magnetic yellow light up on top of your car? And
No, I don't.
Magnetic.
because you said you went, yeah, this was plumbing out type of big.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
You know,
beacon.
inspecting all that.
No, I don't use.
Like a
I don't use the
siren.
beacon.
Check
Where the
all-
police used to do that, they had it
Yeah,
with it up
that's
there.
it. To our age. All right. Any
Uh,
questions? And
Well,
yeah.
just a
Alder?
comment that, thank you for
Yeah.
doing that and being out there and making sure, checking on the streets.
Yeah.
My understanding is it was like miscalculated, really, right? I mean, it was kind of not expected to be.
No, I wouldn't say that. It's more a function of the type of precipitation, the type of snow that came down, that it was a wet, heavy packing type snow. When it fell immediately before our rush hour, so traffic got on it immediately, and that compacted it. And once it got compacted and then the wind hit it, it flashed back to ice immediately. So you get freeze back. That happens from time to time.
And Brian, did you put Brian on?
We did put brine down ahead of time. The amount of snow that came down exceeded the treatment capacity of the brine, and we already had liquid. The brine was working until too much snow came down. Then it diluted the brine and made it susceptible to a freeze back. That happens from time to time.
That's
You
all
could have
I-
put your ice skates on and skated over Delsman Street Bridge that night.
Really?
I bet.
was
I know, because
hilarious.
even walking to the car, it was like, it really, really slippery.
Well, and I know when I was on my way home that night, I live off of Huron Road on the east side, and I was driving down Huron, and Huron for 4 miles was a sheet of glare ice. And first thought that went through my head is, oh boy, county's got a mess on their hands. And then immediately my thought went to, well, that's because everything that they have is out on the interstate system. They are responsible for clearing the interstates on behalf of Woodstock. So they couldn't even get to their own roads because they were busy trying to keep the highways open. So it was just something we all have to deal
It
with.
was a mess.
It took me an hour to get home. I work on Riverside in Alloway. It usually takes me 15 minutes. It took me an hour to get from there just to the
Yep.
west side. Because everybody's moving so slow and there's never a gap to get in.
Kind of like tonight. Everybody's so darn slow.
Yeah.
I
I
was
left a lot
driving
of
to
time
De
today.
Pere. I didn't start slipping until I got to Alloway, so good on us in Green Bay. We had it figured out.
Alloway's pretty slippery.
Yeah.
All right. Motion to receive and place on file.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Second.
Motion to receive and place on file, Alder Eck, second by Alder DeLee. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. That carries. Next INS meeting is January 8th. No public hearings?
No, sir.
All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Alder Eck, second by Alder DeLee. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're opposed. We're opposed.
Thank you.
We're adjourned.